Welcome to the Anything Bowl, where anything goes. I'm Brendan.
And I'm Miguel.
If you can't tell that something's different, it's the morning.
Good morning.
We got tired of drinking on the podcast, so we have coffee.
It's an entirely different vibe. It's an entirely different feeling and just work ethic, the way that we do everything.
Yeah.
It's much more like...
slow morning. Not that slow.
Very slow.
Pick it up.
Folks, welcome to episode 91. Today, Brendan, we're going to cover your favorite movie of all time.
It's so good.
Sony's Madam Web, part of the Spum universe, the shitty Sony universe.
What universe?
The Weekly Planet calls it Spum. Other people call it Sony's Spider-Man universe without a Spider-Man.
Okay.
That's
okay. I'm just going to call it the Sony universe.
The Sony universe without a Spider-Man?
No, just the Sony universe, because that's all I needed.
All right, Brendan.
Yes.
We're going to start with our favorite kind of analytics. What do you think the budget of Madam Web was?
80 million.
80 mil?
Yeah.
How did you know that?
I heard it somewhere.
You looked it up, didn't you?
I think we talked
That's
about
fucking
it.
cheating.
We talked about it.
Opening weekend. Over 6 days, because it came out on Valentine's Day,
Yes.
so it's technically cheating.
Yes. 6 million.
26 million,
Oh.
actually. Made about half as much as Bob Marley did.
Oh.
Yeah.
I didn't watch the Bob Marley
No,
movie.
no.
What does that say about us? We went to go see Madam Web, but we didn't watch the Bob Marley movie.
We went to go see Madam Web at an empty IMAX theater on a Friday night.
Yeah.
That's fucking crazy.
It was so...
It was a bad movie.
We get so used to going to Dolby and everything. I forget how nice IMAX is.
IMAX
is the screen
really nice.
better?
Yeah, I think it is. The screen feels better. It feels bigger. It's wider.
Yeah, the blues really pop.
It accommodates more, right? The IMAX ratio is just bigger.
Yeah.
And the top to bottom, all of IMAX just feels better. It feels like the colors pop more.
What we got to do
Dolby
is, like,
seats.
next time a good Marvel movie comes out or DC thing, we got to see
instead.
it, go IMAX and Dolby and compare.
Fuck that. Well, maybe.
I said it next time a good one, not a bad. Like, I'm not
Deadpool.
seeing Madam Web twice. Spoilers.
No, because Deadpool could be that kind of movie.
Yeah.
Deadpool could be a movie that I go to see a couple times. So we'll talk about that later in the episode. Time codes are below as always. This is no fucking surprise to anybody.
We're sick. Oh.
No, well, yes, as always. Came back from Disney World and we're dying and sick and coughing and
We have the Ebola flu and, like, the swine
COVID
flu,
2.
COVID 2,
Electric
electric boogaloo.
No, so it's no surprise to anybody. Madam Web is bad. Madam Web is atrocious. I'm going to do my absolute best to cut around all of the coughing and throat
I
noises.
found out that people on podcasts have cough buttons.
Just to mute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They called it a cough button. Where's my cough button?
Well, Brendan, listen. We are in your basement with
Could we be on a
$30 green
beach?
screens.
Could you edit that? Is that
You
too
want us
much
to be
work?
on a beach? We could be on a beach.
Now we're
Can't
back in the
afford a
basement.
cough button. My favorite thing that nobody ever pays attention to is the random little moments where I turn off the green screen and turn off all of the effects.
Yeah.
It only happens when we talk about it like on the podcast and
Yeah.
we're like, oh my God, look what's... But it's funny as fuck to me because you sit there and you're like, oh my God, they're in a basement with shit from Amazon.
Yes.
We can't afford a cough button.
No.
Okay.
You wanted to buy a shed to do this.
I did. Sent you a photo of $1,000 shed that we could just like...
And you're like, isn't this better? And I'm like, no. No, it's not.
We could put the shed in your basement.
Yeah. But back to what we were talking about. Madam Web.
Madam Web is horrible.
Yeah.
And my expectations were in the ground.
I went in hearing it was going to be bad, and I was so hopeful. I don't know why.
Well, because it's this huge character in the comics, right? It's this huge integral part of this. It is. In the Spider-Man multiverse, when that's like the fucking era of superhero movies that we live in, this is such a big deal. But then they take it and they give Dakota Johnson these horrific pair of sunglasses and have her like tell someone bless you before they sneeze just to be like, look, she could tell the future,
Which
man.
isn't how that works, because if you tell someone bless you before they sneeze, it
They
stops
won't
the sneeze.
Yes. It's science. That's a common one.
Yeah, or a pineapple.
Yes.
Because that confuses people, and then they forget to sneeze.
Yes, they do. Madam Web. And this isn't even like, it's not even a story thing. It's not a story thing. It's not an acting thing. It's not a dialogue.
It's a shit thing.
It is
It's
all of it.
bad.
Everything from top to bottom. The scenery, the shots, the cinematography.
The overdubbing half the time of the main villain.
So how do you want to get into this? You want to go part by part or like aspect by aspect? Because we can talk about the villain first.
I
feel
want
like
to do it
that's the biggest
overall
one.
a little bit more, and then we'll break it down piece by piece.
So overall, you as a comic book fan, you go in thinking, all right, you know, if this is good, Marvel will connect this to the Sony universe. We'll have the multiverse of Spider-Man, and then we could do Spider-Verse, but live action. And then you come out and you're like, this is a movie from 2003 that went straight to DVD that somehow we're watching right now.
Yeah.
It's not good.
It's really not. And the timeline is all fucked up because of 3 major problems that I'm now just going to go into. I don't even know where to start with.
I have no idea.
So it takes place in 2003.
Yes.
The first Tobey movie came out in 2001.
So it's not the Tobey universe.
So it's not Tobey. But there's a shot from Spider-Man 2 at the end of the movie from the Tobey universe for some reason, which is just a very run-of-the-mill Sam Raimi shot where it's just a really quick zoom at the fucking building. And then they're like, no, but Andrew Garfield's supposed to be in this movie. But those movies came out in like 2012. But Peter Parker was born in this movie in 2003, which means Spider-Man would be 9.
They didn't tell you what his name was.
It's Peter. I'm sorry, we talked about this. It's his brother Steven.
I can't even say that on the podcast. I totally forgot.
So that doesn't line up, even though it was supposed to be Andrew Garfield. So now we're saying that since he was born in 2003, it has to be the Tom Holland Spider-Man, which means that the Uncle Ben we saw is actually the Uncle Ben from Aunt May, and like, you know, I guess Uncle Ben was already dead. I forget the Tom Holland backstory. Did they get divorced? Was he a dick? I don't know.
Mentioned.
He seemed like a pretty good guy, so I don't know.
Would you never see him? Oh, yes.
He's like, I met a new girl, and you're like, what's her name? And she was like, and then went, it's like that. Okay. And I'm like,
okay.
And I'm like,
I wonder what her name may be.
Did he say something?
The subtle hints or nudges towards Spider-Man, but the deliberate backtrack or random expectational subversion.
What about all the Easter eggs that they stole from Spider-Man?
Yes.
And stuffed into this movie, but made it a little bit different. Like we were going to appreciate it and not be like, did he just...
What's the quote that he says? Instead of with great power comes great responsibility, it's like with great responsibility comes immense power.
Yeah, that's exactly what he said. And I just looked at you and you were just like... And I was there, I'm like, I just died a little on the inside. This is... so bad.
I have to tell you something. I was so determined to get through this movie. I almost fell asleep.
No, you did. I saw it.
No.
Me and Timmy were both looking at you.
No.
Yeah.
I was closing my eyes. I was not asleep. I was so fucking determined. When you looked at me and I was like this, it's because I heard it and my eyes went up and I put my hand on my face to be like, don't tell me he's going to see me. Don't tell me he saw me fall asleep.
I just love how at the end of the movie, like 99% of the time I'm in a movie theater, I'm back like this, I'm relaxed, I'm whatever. Even if it's going on too long, I'm just like getting fidgety. Yeah. You and me at the end of this movie fully lean forward, just like what is happening? I can't do this.
Let's talk story then, right? So start to finish, you have Dakota Johnson is an ambulance driver.
Yes.
Her partner is Ben.
Who is an uncle. He becomes an uncle. He becomes an uncle in the movie. We saw Uncle Ben's uncle origin.
Did she ever say what his last name is?
Ben.
No. They really hammer home the fact that his fucking name is Ben.
Can we also just talk about how Emma Roberts is in this movie?
Out of nowhere.
And neither her husband or Aunt May is in this movie. They're just like, they're siblings.
And then when they go, what are you going to name him? Well, his name is Time Dilation. He goes, yeah, that's his name. Yeah, his name. You're like, sure.
I'm going to put $50 down on Peter.
They never said it. It's Stephen Parker. So she starts to develop these powers, right? Where she's just jumping like back and forth and starts seeing time, but also like falling backwards.
Only if something dies, though.
Only if something dies, or if it makes sense for the plot.
Yes.
There's a guy who has a spider for a pet, who gets superpowers, who looks like Spider-Man, but isn't Spider-Man. His name is Ezekiel.
Because he doesn't have webs, but he has poison touch.
Yes.
And he can climb on walls with his hands.
He has poison touch. But it's not his feet. They said that specifically. He only sticks because of his hands.
Exactly.
So that's very important.
Which, you know, we saw confirmed with Andrew Garfield in the...
Yes. No feet.
Yeah, no feet. They just dangle.
He has a dream or a vision. He has a vision. And in this vision, he sees these 3 women who are spider women who kill him. So he steals some technology from the FBI and somehow, some way describes these girls so perfectly that they have photos of them in this database to find these girls in New York City.
Crazy, because half the time I wake up and I go, I had a dream, and people are like, what was it? And I go, I don't know.
I remember.
And he's like, "No, they killed me. They had these faces, and they were wearing masks. So I used this AI technology to see what they would look like underneath the mask."
From 2003.
From 2003, when AI
barely existed.
Yeah, nothing.
Wasn't actually a thing. Closest we had to it was Terminator.
And you see these girls in these suits, and they look fantastic.
The suits, right?
Yeah.
Sydney Sweeney's suit looks great.
See, okay, so
that's the one that they put a ton of work into, and you can tell. The other two
with an actual spider logo on it.
The other two to me look like fucking cosplays.
Okay.
Like, not bad cosplays, but more I could be like,
I was mainly talking about the Sydney Sweeney suit, but then Isaiah brought up something to me that I didn't notice in the movie that I now can't unsee.
What?
In the comics, it's a cowl on the mask, and it goes all the way down her neck. In this, she has a chin strap, and that's it.
She does, yes.
I can't unsee that, and it bothers the fuck out of me.
So, right, to continue on the story, he has this dream. He wants to find these girls.
In a very bad wig, the whole movie.
And somehow the three of them wind up together, and they all relate to Madam Web because the web is what connects everybody. And then she's like, "I'm your mother now. I'm going to protect you. You girls have to come with me." And they all just go, "Yeah, that makes total sense." And then she leaves them in the forest.
Because they all have terrible home lives.
Yes.
And all their parents are missing.
Yes.
Except for that one girl who got deported, which was
sad.
And then the other girl's like, "My parents just feel like I ruined their life." And I'm like, "Didn't you just say that you have a nanny that takes care of you? How bad could their fucking life be?"
So she leaves them in the forest.
As one does.
It says, "Stay here for 3 hours." So, of course, they don't. They go to a diner, which is the only good part of the movie.
Yeah.
Where Ezekiel goes to kill them in the diner, and there's a lot of time rewinding and a little bit of action. And then you get to probably, I think it's the worst the worst climax action scene I've seen either in my life or pretty damn fucking close.
It was really unexplainably bad.
Yes.
This is when they decide
and then a sign falls.
Give her all of her powers, and allow her to use her mind web that's only in her mind to allow her to be 3 places at once, but in like a spectral vision, like what Doctor Strange can use. And they just
it sounds ridiculous.
Throw that at you, and you're just like, "Accept this now." And I'm like, "No, you did not earn that at all. What the fuck is happening?" And then
as she does it, she's like, "This is my super powered moment." And then Ezekiel like kicks her or some shit,
and just knocks her out.
And it stops.
But like he's also got super strength, so she should have cracked ribs and be coughing up blood.
Yes,
and also she then uses her mind power. Once every second and a half for the entire fight, but they refuse to show you what she sees anymore because it would take too long.
That's right.
But because you're not seeing what she's seeing, she's just like, yeah, block, you move.
The signage did a lot for her.
This is atrocious because every step she takes, she has to think about it for like a 1/10 of a second, like a robot, and you see none of it.
And then she falls in the water and goes blind, and I guess becomes a paraplegic. That's the end of the movie.
I don't know why I feel the need to say this, but I'm gonna. Not Dakota, her name. Yeah, Dakota Johnson. Yeah, it does not look good blind. No, it looks weird.
It's not even the contacts. It's to me, right? There's parts of the movie that really got me, right? Because right after the fight scene, they're all like living in this apartment, and it's showing it. And then you have this. They're like, we're gonna steer into the skit about the 2003 thing. So they have this moment where they're all in their suits now. And Dakota Johnson has her suit with her fucking red visor, and they're like, "Look at us, Spider Women, Madam Web." There's parts of this movie that get me, right? The diner scene, fun. Even like parts of the ending, because the finale fucking sucks. But as they're like kicking ass and whatever, and then you can see show, like, some of the camaraderie of them coming back together. There's parts that get me. But every time for every scene that got me, there's a scene of spider people telling her about how great responsibility brings great power. Or in the end, somehow Dakota Johnson was acting her ass off in this movie. She did a lot with what they were giving her. And in the last 2 minutes, they threw it all away. The entirety of her character and the way that she acted and sounded and everything
they were just trying so hard to be. If you were going to commit to it's 2003 and I'm trying to be cool thing, just throw in the Linkin Park song and just make us a little happy. Yeah. The thing I'm dreading right now is
the sequel.
Yes. So hold on. So she said that the Spider-Women, you don't actually see them as the Spider-Women, like, happen in the movie. They don't get their powers. They get nothing. It's all future stuff, which is the biggest tease ever. And I'm pretty sure we have the right to sue Sony for false advertising.
You could.
Because
a lot of their advertisement is the 30 seconds scene in the middle of the movie.
But that is false advertising and being like, this is what the movie's going to be. It's not at all. It's not at all.
No. It's a bunch of girls in a room complaining.
And so they dress all of these girls who are like, I want to say 25 down to like 15. Yes. Yeah. Like Sydney Sweeney's wearing like overalls and like polka dots and like the first
30-year-old woman. And they're like, do you have your teddy bear in your backpack?
Yeah. And I'm like, okay, so this clearly is weird and doesn't work.
Yes.
But I know why they're doing it. Because in the sequel, because of what they did, they now have to pretend that it's 2023 again.
Can you fucking imagine?
Which is 20 years in the future.
Madam Web 2.
So you have to have Sydney Sweeney in the sequel be, I'm 15 or whatever now, and then in 4 years later be like, I'm a 40-year-old. And it's not going to happen. It's not going to work, and it's going to be really weird. And they're just going to slap a white wig on Dakota Johnson.
Yes.
And that's, I really don't want that, because they're not going to do any makeup. No. I'm calling it now just white wig.
See, this is, I don't think we're going to get a Madam Web 2. But I think we're going to get something so much worse. I think worse in the multiverse of fucking everything, right? Whether it's Avengers 5 or 6. You're going to have these Sony claws come up where fucking Pedro Pascal's Mr. Fantastic and Tom Holland have to go with Hugh Jackman, and they're running around the multiverse, and Deadpool's like, what the fuck is that? And it's fucking Madam Web sitting in her chair, and it has to be Dakota Johnson because she signed a contract or something.
Which they got tricked into.
Sweeney's got to show up and be like, hey guys, I'm a big name actor, you know me.
Yeah. I mean, they said Sydney Sweeney and Dakota Johnson both thought that it was the MCU movie, which technically, based on the timeline I described earlier, it might be.
I'm sure.
But like...
I'm sure the fucking contract pitch, I'm sure after No Way Home, the contract pitch was, listen, you're going to join this. It's not the MCU yet, but it's going to be. It's going to be part of it. It's the multiverse. Yeah. It's at the center of everything. Andrew Garfield's going to be in the movie. We're going to see if we can get Tobey Maguire. You're going to meet them. You're going to do the whole thing. This is your universe. And then right before production, after all the screenwriter changes, they get on set and they're like, so actually that's not what's going to happen. You're going to get your suit. You're going to do all this training for one scene.
Yeah.
We're going to call it a day. Dakota Johnson's going to do everything else. Don't worry about it.
I just love the amount of effort and everything they wanted to put in. Like, I saw this clip online of Sydney Sweeney being like, yeah, I looked at like all these comic things, and she's got like this really striking pose where she's upside down. And I wanted
fucking interview scene I've seen of her everywhere.
Yeah.
She's just like, I saw the character really comes down from the roof and I'm upside down. I wanted to do that in my super suit.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's awesome.
And that's literally the only thing you did in it.
30 seconds.
That's
Otherwise,
all
you're
we
a
got.
14-year-old girl talking about, my teddy bears in my backpack.
And like in the flash forward scenes where they're like, they don't have powers yet, but they're gonna. And it's just like the bad guy who has black hair the whole movie is completely gray in his death scene, which means at least like 5 to 10 years, I'm assuming, went by to show the passage of time. And once again, they still look 25.
Yes.
Which I guess if they're supposed to be 15 at that point, them looking 25 would actually be the most accurate.
Sense, yes. The only accurate thing in Madam Web.
And the single worst line of the movie, which I looked at Timmy and I made a comment about it because it was that fucking dumb. He's got powers. It's like a spider, like some kind of spider person. And I'm like, you mean a Spider-Man? No, we can't say that. It's a spider person. I wanted to kill them.
No, if we have to like pinpoint a worst part of the movie, I think the worst thing to me was right in the end, right after she gave birth. And they're like, what's the name? She just look at her, and then it cuts away. And you're like,
we're being really cheeky right here because you don't know if it's Steven or Peter, but we're going to have it. You're just going to keep guessing.
You're never going to know if it's Steven or Peter, man. It could be Miles.
I really hope that, like, as stupid as we're being with this,
can you imagine?
They make a different Spider-Man and they're like, oh my God, it's Peter. He's like, no, my name's Steven. And like, he just plays it 100% serious.
Can you imagine if this is their way of doing, because they didn't show the husband. Can you imagine this is their way of bringing in Miles Morales? Is that the reason they're being so cheeky about it?
There's no fucking way.
They just want to see what
There's
fucking happens?
No way. This half Hispanic, half black kid's mom is Emma Roberts.
Or it just could be Steven.
Steve Spoderman, just,
Spoderman.
Yeah.
So this movie's bad.
It's awful.
And it honestly, right?
Oh, sorry. What?
No, go ahead.
We also watched Morbius in preparation for this.
So for our MCU tier list, link in the bio, we deliberately didn't watch Morbius because we said it was too bad to bother putting on the list.
Yes.
If you want to like retroactively do something right now, Madam Web for me is F tier all the way on the bottom.
Yeah.
Right? There is nothing worse than it.
Yes.
Morbius is still F, but it's at like the top. Because now
I'm going to put it in a D. I liked it more than you did.
Wow. Yeah, I fucking hated it.
Yeah, I mean, I was on 1,000 milligrams of THC when I watched that movie, so I was kind of enjoying
Falling
it.
asleep at 6 at the afternoon.
6. I watched it. I'm like, I don't know what he's talking about. This movie ain't that bad. The dialogue is awful, but it's got a compelling story. Special effects were weird. Were really, really weird. And also...
Yes, but I liked... The special effects were my favorite fucking part. Because they were cool. They were different. It's the problem, right? If you want to pivot now to Morbius...
Yeah.
The problem with Morbius is not the effects. It's not the cinematography. It's not even... Like, I'll give a little leeway for the storyline. The problem with Morbius is not a single conversation that happens in that movie feels like a real conversation. It's just Jared Leto being like, I'm so sorry, Martine. I need you to inject me with this. This is life or death.
I really hated how it seemed like a lot of the really gruesome murders were supposed to... Was that a rated R movie?
Yeah.
It was. So why did it feel like they kept pulling their punches again? Like, you would see, like, this guy get his neck slashed, but then, like, the camera would go with it. And I'm like...
Was it rated R? There was a lot of fucks and shits thrown around.
There was?
I feel like
I don't remember. And then I'm probably going to get crucified online for saying this, but,
You
there
see
was,
something
like...
good about Matt Smith?
He's in the scene.
Okay.
There's a scene where they're in the subway and everything, and it didn't feel like that stereotypical, like, Marvel or whatever subway scene.
Yeah.
It felt different, and for some reason, it just really reminded me of a American Werewolf in London, and I don't know why.
I've never seen that movie.
It's really good. It's like the werewolf movie.
The werewolf movie? What about Teen Wolf, starring Michael J. Fox?
No, but that's a pretty solid movie. You ever see the sequel with Jason Bateman? But it was just something about how, like, every time someone's in a subway, like in Madam Web,
yes,
they're always just like at the tracks.
There's a subway scene in Madam Web? Yes, there is. Yes, there's a whole fight scene. I'm sorry. That movie's like a fucking...
I didn't fall asleep. What train?
No, I remember the train. Where they're on the train and Dakota Johnson's like, get off the train.
Yeah,
and every other person is just like, oh, she's taking those girls. All right.
Yeah. And then she's like, we're being kidnapped. And then not once, oh my, hold on. No. They're like, oh no, they think I kidnapped you girls because you, the person I kidnapped, screamed, oh no, she's kidnapping us.
Yes, they did.
How are we going to solve this? I'm going to leave you in the woods. How about you take them to the police station and have them go, no, she didn't kidnap us. She saved us.
She stole
Why
a
was
taxi.
that not an option?
She stole a taxi. She left the kids in the woods. And
an ambulance. My God.
Then they went out of their fucking way to show us a scene of her taking the plates off of the taxi.
And dropped them on the floor. Right next to the stolen taxi. No one's going to find this. The dumbest. I'm sorry. I completely forgot. The dumbest thing in this movie. I didn't want to get heated this morning, but I am. When she's just like, oh no, I just saw my best friend, her sister, and all three of these girls die in an explosion in a car.
Okay.
I'm going to save them by blindly ramping a 4-ton ambulance through a fucking billboard and hope that I don't land on them, crushing them instantly. And you know what? It works perfectly.
It's the sign, man. That sign just does
she
everything
saw
to fucking
how
help
they died.
them.
She didn't see how, like...
How it would go if you ran an ambulance through
that's the dumbest thing about how this works. She only sees how it goes wrong. She doesn't see how to fix it. Yeah. She just goes, that happened. I know what to do.
Ambulance. Krankenwagen.
She literally yeeted it out of the building, and I saw it. I'm like, if this was a Deadpool movie, that's landing right on them and their pancakes.
Yes.
And he would just stop and look at the camera and be like, that didn't go as planned. And like, they're all fucking dead. And it just... She got so much air in such a heavy vehicle.
Yes.
I hated it. I hated it. I was so mad.
I don't know if I hated Morbius more or less.
Way less. Way less. There was good moments.
There's a moment in Morbius where he uses the Force, but the Force is bats.
Yeah, that was cool.
It's not cool.
You know what wasn't cool?
What?
Normally these bats would tear a human alive, but not me. They see me as one of them.
He starts flying and he's like...
And I'm like, dude, just I'm sorry. No, the bat thing was it was cool,
Fucking
but it was
stupid.
dumb. That's what I'm saying. That this movie, Madam Web, awful top to bottom. Morbius, really cool concepts, executed poorly,
atrociously.
This was just
and then Madam Web doesn't even have the quote in it, man. The quote that everybody wanted to see.
What? It's Morbin time. That wasn't even in the movie.
No. Her being like, that's Ezekiel Samuels. He was in the Amazon forest with my mother studying spiders before she died.
She did say that.
No.
She didn't?
No.
So they thought that was extra dialogue that needed to be in the fucking trailer and went, everyone's going to love this.
That's right. That's the thing that's going to pull them right in. Quick little exposition dump in a sentence.
How did someone write Morbius and they went, this is so fucking good.
Brendan.
You need to write another one right now.
It's the same writers for both.
That's what I just said.
That's fucking crazy.
Yes.
They let them do it again.
But that's what I'm confused about. Because, like, the script...
It's bad.
It seems like the script and the story in Morbius was good, and it fell apart in, like, the editing room and the dialogue.
Yes.
So did he just write the script and the story, and then someone else wrote the dialogue? Or did they show him... Did he walk in and go, here's the movie, and all the dialogue was in it, and they went, you're a fucking genius. And
assumedly,
yeah,
it was all done from the start. But the way that these things have leaked as Madam Web has been created, it wouldn't surprise me if they were just writing dialogue on the day.
Yeah,
if they were just like, oh my god, Spider-Man's good. Spider-Man's no longer in it. How are we going to explain? How would Spider-Man would have even fit into this fucking movie?
So a 10-year-old Andrew Garfield would wander in an oversized spider suit and be like, I'm here to save the day, man. Like a Power Ranger. And
so then Emma Roberts would have been having
her second baby, Steven. As we've established.
Or Miles.
Or Miles.
Right, clearly there was a lot of reworking, but Spider-Man was in this movie at some point and was taken out entirely.
Yes, which would explain why it seems like a bunch of sketches. Because there's probably a chunk of the story in the middle that's just not there.
Could have learned more about the spider people.
Or like the fact that she was at the Amazon for a week and it was a 5-minute scene with some of the worst quotes I've ever fucking seen in a movie. And then she's just like, I'm back now. Oh, they just got kidnapped like right now? That's convenient.
She just went, Ben, I need you to watch. I was like, oh, she's going to have to go to the Amazon. Take them with him. She's like, no, I need you to watch the kids for a week. These 3 kids that you've never met before. Have no idea who they are. Also, and who they said that I kidnapped.
They kept getting kidnapped and like try to get murdered every 30 seconds. Yes. And then they were in this house hidden for a week. And he went, this is working really well, but you're going to be safer coming outside with me, even though that's the one thing you shouldn't do. Instead of me just taking my sister to the hospital and you guys sit on the fucking couch.
Yes.
Also, only time I chuckled during that movie was when he like did a little like skip jump over
oh my god, we didn't even talk about the fucking villain.
Her water breaking.
Didn't they show it too?
No. She walked in, she went, my water broke, and he went, ew, and then like hopped over it.
We didn't even talk about it. I think the worst part of the movie is the villain who clearly was one thing when they filmed it and then another thing in post, and they had him overdub all of his lines.
I don't even think he was in the movie.
They overdubbed his lines so hard to the point where you could as an audience member, you can hear the difference between what was filmed through the camera and what was overdubbed.
Why was most of it overdubbed?
I don't know. I have no fucking idea. But the way that in the beginning they tried to hide it, right? Where you could see, because the shot would be over his shoulder, he wasn't saying what you hear.
The first words
they were
out of
hiding
his mouth.
it.
The first words.
Yes, the entire first scene that he was in.
Yeah.
They were hiding it. And you're like, all right, I get it. Maybe it's an emergency. And after maybe like 15 minutes, they entirely gave up.
Yeah.
And they would just show full dialogue-filled scenes face to the fucking camera of him. His mouth is moving, but it's not what the fuck you're hearing. Yeah. And it constantly would jump between the overdub and the things that he's like improvising or whatever on set and then back again.
It's just...
It's comically bad. I don't understand how, if you're an investor in a company like Sony's movie division, how you could be like, this is an $80 million movie. Sure, release it. When you have a movie like fucking Coyote versus Acme with Max that's getting shelved that people love, but something like this is allowed to be made.
Yeah.
And not even made, but just like released out to the public, that you put money into marketing and sending your stars out to places.
I think that we need to start putting in stipulations in contracts that say you have the rights to these people, but if you put out 3 bad movies in a row, it gets taken from you. And then we auction it off to the highest bidder.
Yes.
Because someone who's going to pay $6 billion for Spider-Man may actually care more than Sony, who goes, here's Spider-Man, but no Spider-Man.
I feel like if some, even now with the way phases 4 and 5 have gone, I feel like Kevin Feige could have made a really good Madam Web movie, or just thrown her into like Spider-Man 4 or 5 and done it very well.
Yeah.
Instead of, basically, it felt like an X-Men setup film, but for Spider-Man people. Am I the only one that got that vibe too? The X-Men vibe?
Well, yeah, because she became Professor X at the end in her hovering wheelchair that was way too smooth, and her glasses, and her looking out the window like...
Kind of like the Emperor?
Yeah. And it was just...
So then let's... What?
One of the reviews I saw for this movie
You read the reviews?
Yeah, a couple like things I saw on Instagram.
It's rotten at a 13.
This seems like a terrible movie that was a setup for a much better movie.
Yes.
And I can't agree with that more. The 3 Spider-Women, that as a movie, would have been infinitely better than what we got.
Yeah. Or you could have just done, like proper universe building and had the 4 of them have the 4 or the 3 of them have their own movies, and then they come back together and do whatever. Madam Web's there. And then you have Venom show up just to be like, hey, we're in the same universe. I'm Venom. And then Morbius comes in and he goes, I'm Morbius. And then the Vulture comes in and goes, I'm the Vulture.
I like how for this, they have multiple spider people.
Yes.
None of which have the generic Spider-Man powers.
Yes. They all have to be different.
Also, they implies that the spider sense is always just the foresight that she has, but to a lesser extent.
Yes.
And not just a sense, which is, something's coming behind me. Let me grab that. That means in Peter Parker's mind, he has to be like, I'm going to get hit in the back of the head with a truck and get murdered. I should turn. And then
I should jump and tackle Mary Jane.
I should hit them with an ambulance. And it's just, it caused more problems and questions than it answered.
Yes.
By a mile.
Yes. And then every time the story attempted to progress, it just asked more questions.
Yeah.
I really love that we haven't touched on the spider people.
I just did.
No, I meant the people in the Amazon.
That's what I meant.
That's what you were talking about? Oh, okay. Now that makes it a little bit more sense. Yeah. Thought you were talking about the girls again.
No, like every person who's in there, who, by the way, they're like, we're tribesmen. We're like, you live in the middle of the Amazon. And then they come back like 20 years later and he's like, I got on my polo and my scarf.
Yes.
And I'm like,
I've been waiting for you this entire time.
I'm like, why the fuck were you dressed like that before then? Clearly you have a society.
I'm right next to this tree that hasn't moved an inch in 20 years.
This is the life tree from Avatar, and you're going to be in the birth water, and we're going to turn you into Sigourney Weaver.
Hooray. So this is bad. You go before this, Morbius was bad. You go before this, Venom Let There Be Carnage, which is somehow better than Madam Web, is bad.
It's awful. And I had high hopes for that movie, too.
Yes.
With Andy Serkis directing a mostly CGI fucking, movie.
Yes.
Terrible.
The best part of that movie, just to backtrack, is Venom. Venom and Tom Hardy. The story is ass. Whatever kind of dialogue between other characters is ass. The entire progression of the villains, horrible.
Yeah.
But fucking Tom Hardy standing there talking to Tom Hardy from a fucking green screen, stellar.
So now I have a really important question.
Is your question going to be, how the fuck do they keep making these when none of them make money? Because that's what I'm asking.
No, my question is, we call this all part of the Sony universe.
Yes.
But.
Nope.
Here's where it works. Let me untangle this web, if you will.
This Madam Web.
This Madam Web. This Madam Web. I hate myself.
Can that just be like a really perfect short, but you have to throw on like the surprise groundhog sound?
I was gonna put on the CSI Miami Who music from your intro where it's like, yeah, just being obnoxious, but edit it so these look like sunglasses.
Dun 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 dun.
Or just the Linkin Park song.
Okay, what is your question, great detective?
We're start at the beginning. Venom. Not connected to Spider-Man in any way except for that 5-second period where it was.
Yeah. The post-credit scenes.
The sequel to Venom. I'm just going to put that in the same boat. Then you get Morbius.
Yes.
Where he knows of the existence of Venom because in the line of the movie he goes, I am Venom, blah.
Just kidding. I just friendly neighborhood Dr. Michael Morbius.
Yes, I'm just in Morbin time, And then, at the end, in the end credit scene, Vulture shows up, who does know of that Spider-Man, but it's part of that universe.
And
But then this is also supposed to be part of the Sony universe.
Specifically quotes in the end. Did you watch the post-credits scene?
Yeah.
The other one where he gets his suit?
Yeah.
Where he comes in, he's like, I don't know how I wound up here. I think it has something to do with a Spider-Man. And Morbius is like,
you want to team up? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, so where the fuck did that come from? And like,
every movie could just end with Linkin Park and be perfect.
So like, this movie, they set up a universe where this movie's supposed to be part of that universe, but it's the only universe it doesn't fit in.
Because they're spider people.
The spider people, the timeline doesn't add up. They don't know who the fuck they're talking to. There's no Venom, there's no Vulture, there's no Morbius. But at the same time, there is. Who knows? Like, what is happening?
You know what I want to find out?
Who the writer was and if we can beat him.
No. If there's more. Oh my god, I fucking forgot. There's Kraven the Hunter later this year too.
And he likes animals. The Hunter. Likes animals.
Another rated R movie.
May be a vegan. I don't know. Man, where'd you get that lion on your chest that you're wearing? We were just really good buds, and I just didn't want to lose him, so I just wear him now.
There are more... I just wear him now. There are more Sony Spider-Man universe without Spider-Man movies coming out this year than there are Marvel movies.
There are more Spider-Man movies without Spider-Man in them than there are with Spider-Man in them. Like, as far as the Sony ones go, you have the 3 Tobey ones, the 2 Andrew ones. That's 5 movies. Yeah. You got 2 Venoms, you got Morbius, you got Madam Web. Now we're getting to Kraven the Hunter. There's
and Venom 3.
And Venom 3. So we're above it. And if they get Madam Web 2, we're getting more.
I'm so fucking confused because none of them are making money.
No.
Morbius made so little money that they were like, yeah, we'll put it back out again because you guys like the meme. And then it bombed again.
We're like, no, we don't want to watch it. We want to make fun
of
it.
We're just talking about it. And then Jared Leto does the meme of him holding Morbius to its morbid time. He's like, yes, this is the one. So Kraven the Hunter is going to be back.
I didn't see that.
You didn't? No. It's good. Kraven the Hunter is going to be back.
It's going to be atrocious.
I wish Aaron Taylor Johnson would just be in more good stuff because he's a very good actor.
Well,
like
they're
Bullet
making
Train,
Kick-Ass
whatever.
3.
Fuck that.
Fuck you.
But I mean, instead of being Quicksilver again, he's like, no, I'm going to be Kraven the fucking Hunter. Exactly. That's going to be cool. I'm going to be the vegan hunter. This is going to be
vegan
hunter. I hunt corn.
I hunt plants. See that celery? Watch me stalk it for 3 days, and then I'm going to kill it with this axe.
And then he has a spear, and he's like...
I don't know what Kraven the Hunter does.
That's what he does. That's what Kraven the Vegan Hunter does. And then we have Venom 3.
Kraven the Vegan.
What the fuck is going to happen in Venom 3? Because they did the first one where they went, hey, guess what? Here's the symbiote, and then 6 more.
Yes.
And then the second one they went, so you had 6, but now there's just 2. Yeah. 2 is good.
Yeah. You get anti-venom.
Another symbiote?
Yeah, but I believe it was a variation of it created by the government. Where he is actually an anti-hero, unlike, Venom, who is just a villain. Why are they all anti-heroes now? Why are you making all of the villains seem like kind of good guys?
Because why put Spider-Man in when no Spider-Man good?
What?
This is what it sounds like in Sony's board meetings. They go, what are your movie plans?
Spider-Man, but no Spider-Man.
They go, how are you not going to put Spider-Man? And they go, hold on. Venom likes Spider-Man.
Yeah. What if the villains were the heroes? Everyone likes the Joker movies, but what if we made them not bad guy?
There's one, okay? Can't wait for that second one to be bad.
I really better not be.
I want to see if there's anything about Venom 3. Because somehow this movie just started filming and it comes out in November.
CGI is going to be terrible, just like Morbius, where he's got that fake body on him, where he's all skinny, and it looks worse than it did in Captain America.
Yes, it did.
Coffee's starting to hurt my heart.
You should probably stop drinking it. You're getting too angry.
You're right, I'm blaming the coffee. I should be blaming Madam Web. Hurts my heart.
There's no information right now about the story for Venom 3, just a really weird-looking logo.
Yep. That they announced a year ago.
Yep. Actually, 2 years ago. Venom 2 came out in 2021.
Longer than that.
No, Venom 1 came out in 2018.
COVID really fucked up how time works.
Yes, there's no time for fucking anything. Oh man, I think for Madam Web, that's all I got left in me. Yeah. Or for the Sony fucking universe as a whole, because they're all bad except one.
Pretty tuckered out and sweaty now from that. So
fucking sweaty. So then let's pivot from one company that, we hate and what they're doing to a second company that everybody hates.
We love to hate and hate the love, and
because they've done they can do so much good.
It's an abusive relationship, but we're in it.
Yes, it is. Okay, so we're gonna talk Disney, one of our favorite companies and things to just shit on about, because a few weeks ago when we were on vacation, they announced a fuck ton of stuff.
Where were we on vacation?
Disney World.
Oh,
Yes.
So the company we hate.
Yes. We were drinking. We were having a good time. It doesn't matter. So we'll cover the big ones, and then we'll just see how far out we can go into 2031, because that's fucking crazy. So number one, you have Inside Out 2. That should be coming out this summer.
What? Oh, I thought you're going all
of them.
Disney.
Yes. It's just the announcements.
Okay.
What we have to look forward to this year, and then some of next year.
Okay.
Inside Out 2.
Can't wait to see Bing Bong die again.
Who?
Bing Bong.
Who?
Bing Bong. Bong Bing. Purple elephant dude, I think.
Sure. I don't fucking know.
Am I the only one who didn't really care for that fucking movie?
Inside Out, I never watched it.
It's Isaiah's favorite Pixar film.
Of course it is. Deadpool and Wolverine.
Okay, here we go. This is what I wanted to talk about.
The trailer is so good. And I hate that we say this every time there's a fucking Marvel movie that comes out.
I just love how they managed to make it seem like an actual Deadpool movie still. I thought the tone was drastically going to change with it being in the actual Marvel universe now. And it seems like there are certain parts where it is, but other parts where like it's still Deadpool. Like they blended it well. I hope. Like I haven't seen the whole like film.
The only thing, right? So the trailer is mainly to cover basic story beats to show us like Deadpool's back. His whole crew is back. Wolverine's going to be there. TVA. The TVA is there, and they look really different because the budget's different, even though Disney Plus and what you see in the movie are supposed to be one and the same, but that's okay. It doesn't really matter. Pyro shows up from 2 of the X-Men movies in like 2005. I never saw, so. Me neither, so I had no idea who the fuck he is.
They're like, this guy, and I'm like, who?
So they're showing you a little bit of the multiverse. The only thing that bothers me is the look of the TVA. Because the whole thing that was pitched for Disney Plus, they were like, look, the Marvel shows and the Disney shows are these big budget things. And initially, right before they wound up just filming everything in the fucking volume, these big budget things, it's going to be 1-to-1 with the movies. You have to watch the TV shows to get to the movies. Yeah. Fast forward 4 or 5 years, that's not true, because they barely mention anything from the fucking shows into the movies until now with the Marvels. And it's just, I can feel the difference. I know things have to look different because toys and whatever, but just like the color palette feel, some of the hue, like the weird green hues.
I actually saw an explanation for that.
Is it because it's a new TVA?
No, it's because each floor of the TVA has its own color palette, and the floor that we saw in this was actually a new floor that we haven't seen before.
How does the TVA still exist?
So this I also saw. Shout out to New Rockstars. The TVA now just makes sure that all the timelines stay healthy. That was for you. Stay healthy rather than pruning ones and preventing it from doing whatever. They're just making sure everything's okay. So that's what they kind of run now. They're just like maintenance rather than like exterminators.
Yeah.
Which is why we saw that one poster that everyone's like, oh, it's the normal TVA poster that we used to see, but if you look at it, it flails out again on the other side, so it's actually the tree. So it is an up-to-date version. Yeah.
Okay.
They're just looking at it sideways, so in their minds, Loki is like this.
He's just on his side like, guys!
There is so much going on in this. There's so many rumors.
Can't fucking wait.
Patch is going to be in it.
Who?
Patch.
Who?
Patch. Wolverine, but in the white suit, who's dressed like James Bond with a patch.
With the eye patch? Fuck yeah.
And everyone's looking at it, and they're like, that's not
Daniel Radcliffe?
No. He said he's not built right, but he think it's Taron Egerton.
Oh yeah, because he's one of the casting
members. He wanted to be him, and then behind him, he's at a table of cards. Gambit may be the dealer.
Oh fuck yeah!
And we don't know
which
if it's
one is going to be the one from X-Men Origins.
We don't know, or Channing Tatum.
Honestly, Ryan Reynolds is the type of motherfucker to bring in Channing Tatum.
To get both.
Yes.
They're just dealing at each other, have no idea that they're both Gambit.
And what's funny too is it'll just be a 30-second thing.
Yeah.
And then it'll cut to them, and they're like, "Look at us, we're doing the thing." And Deadpool cuts. And he's like, "This is fucking cameo porn, man. We need to leave."
You know what's another thing that like we don't know if it's gonna happen yet or not, but it might. At his birthday party scene at like the beginning, we don't know if Brad Pitt's there because he's invisible.
Fuck yeah!
So he could come back.
I love his little hair that he has on his head too.
Yeah, because of the staples and shit.
Yes.
Yeah. They also pointed out a couple things which is really weird, that Vanessa talks to him in a really weird way.
Yeah.
To where either like she calls him buddy a couple times, and it either seemed condescending to where she maybe like is trying to make him cheer up and feel better kind of thing, or possibly that in the only universe where like she gets to stay alive and it's okay, they're not together but friends.
Oh.
Yeah.
And that could be one of the big plots of the movie.
I still just want to see him date Death because that is such a cool comic arc.
This movie's going to be great. I can tell that from the fucking get-go of how you're letting Ryan Reynolds do whatever. Yes, we have. The only time I've been wrong is with Thor: Love and Thunder.
We believed in Taika Waititi too much.
I don't want this to be the one and done Deadpool, right? Where it goes good and then Marvel puts out another flop and then Ryan Reynolds is like, you know what? I had my trilogy. I'm done. I had my movie with Hugh. I don't give a shit anymore.
Well, what's crazy is Kevin Feige said that he now wants to put both him and Hugh in Kang Dynasties, which means we're still getting Kang Dynasty.
I know. Nobody knows what the fuck it's going to be.
Just
that's
nothing but Kangs from behind the head. So there's no face. Oh no, it's Kang.
He's just starts to turn a little bit and then it cuts back.
It just cuts.
It's just Deadpool reacting. You think I'll make a joke about it?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
It's just a fourth wall break of Deadpool's face. He goes,
but like,
I can't believe you punched those women,
is it going to be is it going to be, oh no, are you going to beat me too? Like kind of thing? Like, also, I did not get the pruning thing at the beginning as a joke. He's just like, whoa, take it easy. I'm used to that, but Disney's not. I'm like, it was on Disney Plus. What are you talking about? And then they pointed out it was like a dildo joke.
Yeah,
like,
no, he said pegging.
Did he say pegging?
I'm pretty sure he did.
Oh, okay. Also, he drops an F-bomb in the trailer, which you see the first F-bomb in the MCU actually said in the trailer.
No, the first F-bomb was in Guardians 3.
Fuck, you're right.
Open the fucking door.
Open the fucking... That was a good scene. That was a good movie.
Yeah. Okay, so... Time to keep going, because that's the only Marvel movie this year. Or show. Oh, no, there's the X-Men, but that's... Later tomorrow.
We didn't watch the original, so we're not watching the new one unless it becomes canon. So, like, I'm not going to worry about it for now.
The next time we do the tier list is like a year or two away, so I'm not even going to think about that, okay?
No, we're not doing it for a while. Next.
Moana 2.
I don't care.
You're going to watch it.
I didn't watch Moana 1.
You're going to.
It doesn't even have your guy in it anymore.
What do you mean, my guy? Oh, Lynn? Well, yeah, because it was going to be a show.
Yeah.
But now it's not. You're going to watch it. You're going to like it.
Can we just talk about something that isn't Disney, but like got announced recently that has been all over the internet?
Brendan, we're in the middle of the Disney
But
list.
Megamind 2. How dare you?
It's not the same cast.
It's not, which is why we need to talk about it.
I don't care.
Who did that? We waited like 10 years for a sequel and you couldn't get back one person?
What company is it?
DreamWorks.
That's DreamWorks?
Yeah, I think so.
DreamWorks be hitting it out of the park sometimes and then utter fucking flops other times.
Yeah, well, like, I think it was supposed to be a TV show and then it became a movie, kind of like that other thing. Or maybe, or it was a movie and now it's a TV show, so I don't know. Shit show.
Mufasa, the Lion King.
No. Who asked for that?
Somebody.
Can I get another Lion King like 1.5?
That one was good. Captain America Brave New World 2025.
Eventually.
Hopefully.
Maybe. It might come out. It might not.
Might not.
They filmed the whole movie, but they're going to start from scratch. Yeah. Turns out you guys fucking hated it. Let's try again.
Snow White.
That's still coming out?
Next year, yeah.
Thought she got canceled.
I think she did get canceled, but can't imagine that they didn't drop like $150 million into that movie already.
Didn't people get like offended by like the dwarves that they had and then they replaced them with giant CGI monsters that are just awful to look at?
So after that,
okay, do you not know?
I don't know. I don't honestly.
Yeah,
I fear the idea of us having to go see a live action Disney film because that means, based on our track record and the audience that we have, that we will then have to watch the rest of the Disney live action films and then rank them in some
because
form
they're
or
not
fashion.
Part of a universe.
Doesn't matter if they're part of a universe.
It's just Disney. By that logic, we have to watch everything Disney's made ever, which I'm not going to.
Even the racist stuff.
No, they got rid of Splash Mountain. It's no longer canon. Okay.
The biggest announcement that's happened for this entire fucking thing between Disney and whatever is the Fantastic Four cast. It was perfect. It was stellar. It was not what we expected whatsoever.
No.
Everybody thought it was going to be Deadpool in the trailer, just being like, hey guys, so by the way, this is the cast of the Fantastic Four.
And I thought Pedro Pascal was going to shave his mustache, and they couldn't even fake it. They couldn't even fake it for the drawing.
I love that if you look at the poster that they put out, it's all of them. You're like, okay, they're trying. It's clear that they're trying to embody like the character and the actor into one, but it's just Pedro. He's just dancing. He's just like,
oh yeah, he's clear.
He's like, I'm
and
Pedro
you know
Pascal.
damn well they didn't actually have him on set to do that. They just drew his face. And they're like, just draw him how he would be. And the outfits that they have look like they're knitted, and it seems very like, I want to say like Brady Bunchy, like which is like their thing, their family, their whatever. But then they're like, oh, they're going really retro with this. They're going with the 90s.
No.
And I'm like, that's a 60s style. Why are you being like, it's the 90s, but like 60s? No. And you know what else is? And they announced another movie or something that's also going to be the 90s. Oh, I think it was the X-Men show.
Oh, 97.
Yeah, so like, they're just going all out with this 90s vibe. And I'm like,
it's just all mutants all the time.
Why did you set up a multiverse to bring everyone in if your solution is to just be like, nah, man, they're just from the 90s? You set up multiverses for this reason.
I'm fucking hyped as shit for this because it's clear that the way that we've done the Fantastic Four in the past with the other three movies, having them in the modern day is not it. And there's no way right now that you could go into the MCU and be like, look, Spider-Man multiverse, here's this. Here's a new family with new powers, with a new origin story in 2026, whenever the movie would take place.
Yeah.
I'm totally here for them going back in time. I'm here for the aesthetic and the cast and whatever. What I don't like is the way that they just try to continuously sweep under the rug excuses for things existing. Mm-hmm. Right? It was one thing when they were like, Iron Man 2008, Captain America exists, Soldier frozen in time, and then he shows back up. All right, fine.
Yeah.
I get it. Or Captain Marvel, they're like, nah, man, actually there was this whole cosmic fight that went into space. She's from another planet, back and forth, the cube, the whole thing. I was like, you know what? She's supposed to be the key to beating that. Fine. Excuse it. I get it. How the fuck are they going to explain the Fantastic Four in the 60s existing and having abilities and whatever, but then by the time Iron Man comes, nobody knows who they are or what's going on, and then place them in 2026?
Time travel multiverse at the same time.
I'm getting fucking tired of
In
this.
our universe, it's like 70 years in the past. Wow. That's not how time works. Okay, we're the TVA. Come with us. Oh, here you go. Yeah.
We're going to prune the versions of you guys in this universe.
Which means we're going to get to watch Chris Evans' Human Torch die in Deadpool 3.
Can't wait for that.
Calling it now.
I want to see... I think I saw some rumor the other day of like Ben Affleck's Daredevil and Elektra showing up and helping fight against Deadpool.
Elektra has been confirmed to be in the movie, but not Ben Affleck.
Really?
Yeah.
Who the fuck confirmed that?
Months ago. Like, she's in the movie. We know it. Also, for the Fantastic Four, they confirmed the villain, like, yesterday as well. Who would you think it was going to be?
It's fucking Galactus.
Yes.
Who else is it going to be?
Dr. Doom.
Jennifer Garner is set to reprise her role.
Yeah.
Variety.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
If Ben Affleck ain't in that shit, I don't want to see it. That's where I'm at. Right, so we don't read comics. I don't know how I feel about Galactus existing in the MCU as it does right now anyway.
I'm very excited.
Like, how do you beat him? What's...
So I heard a rumor online
Javier
that this is very much probably going to happen.
Go right up his butthole.
No. That they're going to... If they do this, they're just done.
Yeah.
Bring back Thanos to help him fight Galactus. They're really just beating that dead fucking horse, aren't they? They're just beating him. They
just keep having Thanos show
and they're like, look, I found a new part of the horse. Let's beat it some more.
Look, now he's a good guy. He's part of the Guardians of the Galaxy.
You give him a second gauntlet. Just go.
Have you seen like the concept art for King Thanos though? Because it's a thing in the comics where Thanos has like that crown and the fucking beard and everything.
Oh yeah.
Listen. It sounds ridiculous. It sounds like a cash grab that they're fucking desperate. If you come to me in my late 20s and tell me that Thanos is fucking coming back, I will still, at the ripe age of 28, be there opening night with you and with Timmy for them to go, look, it's Josh Brolin again. He's 60, but look at how strong and crazy and mean he is next to Hugh Jackman, who at this point is made of paper because he's getting so old.
You know what's really cool, though?
No.
Josh Brolin in Deadpool 3 can fight himself as Cable and Thanos.
We've been waiting for that since 2018.
Yeah.
Do it.
Do it.
Fucking cowards.
Kill yourself.
I want the scene of Deadpool going around the multiverse and running into Thanos.
I want to see him go back and kill baby Hitler again. It was a good scene.
My mind is fucking like Marvel porn. Your mind is like Hitler.
Kill baby Hitler. I just like it because now it's funnier that Don Cheadle was just like with Thanos, and they were like, and like that's kind of what Deadpool did with baby Hitler. I don't know. It's just a weird connection in the timeline now, and I
So Thanos fighting Galactus, right? The Silver Surfer. It's
who maybe gender swapped, or it's just going to be the other ones.
Wasn't it going to be Anya Taylor-Joy at one point?
No, it still is.
Oh fuck.
Apparently, Silver Surfer is like one of these Centennials or whatever. Not the same Centennials, but like something called that or whatever. Where like they're it's Galactus's henchmen.
Yeah.
So there's 4 of them. Silver Surfer's one of them. She's not supposed to be the Silver Surfer. She's supposed to be the female one. That's
the henchman.
Who I believe is on fire.
Just like Mad Max.
Yeah.
Okay. Just a couple more.
Furiosa. The girl on fire.
This is gonna be such a bad movie.
Mockingjay Part 4.
So in 2025, can you guess what movie is next?
Blade 3.
Moana.
You mentioned that already.
No, live action Moana.
Get the fuck out of here.
2 Moanas in 2 years.
That's too much.
The Thunderbolts is supposedly starting filming soon.
I'll believe it when I see it.
Comes out in 2025.
No.
A movie that everybody keeps talking about being canceled.
Even the cast is like, man, we don't fucking know.
It wasn't even on the release schedule or anything.
Yeah.
In this earnings call, not a fucking word mentioned about the Thunderbolts.
Yeah.
A movie that we've been saying looks fucking horrible since it was announced with the cast.
Yeah.
After the Thunderbolts is Blade, allegedly. Another movie that's just been going through fucking development hell.
Yeah.
To cap off 2025, we have Avatar 3.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's coming back.
Another Avatar.
Yeah, nice.
Don't worry. When we get to 2031, I'll tell you about Avatar 5.
Oh, but did you not hear? James Cameron has an idea for Avatar 7.
Oh, what a nice guy.
Yeah,
We're too deep.
But he's worried that he's going to be dead at that point, so he wants to pass it on to someone else.
Avatar 7, if this timeline is correct, would come out in like 2040.
Yep.
When we are in our mid-30s.
Yeah, can you imagine CG?
Avatar 7?
CG.
We won't even go to the theater. We'll just be sitting at home like this.
Yeah. Did you see Avatar last night? Yeah, I beamed it right into my fucking skull.
I'm actually watching it right now.
Right now.
Hold on, there's an
Aren't
ad.
you in church? Yeah.
The main reason I wanted to talk about the Disney list is to get to these last couple, which is Avengers Kang Dynasty 2026, allegedly. Toy Story 5.
No, stop it.
Almost 30
Those
years
toys are
after
dead.
the first one came out.
Toys wear and tear, right? Those toys are dead.
Can you imagine what that fucking animation is going to look like for Toy Story 5? The toys have to befriend their smartphones.
Jesus Christ. Oh my God, they're going to do that.
They are. Yes. Or AI toys. That sounds horrifying.
Just go into a sharper image. You just get like those robot dogs that do like backflips and shit.
Yes.
That'd be fun.
No. Frozen 3.
Okay.
You're going to have to watch it.
Yeah.
And then I think what's the worst title to me is The Mandalorian and Grogu. It's a bad fucking title. 2026, because Pedro Pascal has to be in the Fantastic Four.
Yep.
And then in an Avengers movie.
I mean, it's the same title concept as Batman and Robin. The Mandalorian and Grogu.
2027.
Just change it. The Mandalorian and Baby Yoda return.
2027 is Secret Wars. Still 3 years away.
Yes.
2029, Avatar 4.
Jesus Christ.
2031, Avatar 5. All things that you're going to have to sit through.
Yep.
We'll be turning 30 when Avatar 4 comes out.
Stop.
Oh my God.
I don't want to think about that.
Yeah, we're going to be old.
Yeah.
You think we'll still be doing this?
I don't know.
Hopefully. Maybe make some money.
Yeah.
Brendan.
Yeah. Is this over?
We're at the tail end of the episode.
Okay.
Any of the final things that you want to touch on? The fact that we were sick, we had to skip out on a week. That's why there's nothing but MCU tier list.
Yeah.
Shit.
Wanted to see Argyle. Heard it was terrible. Didn't get a chance to see it. Wanted to see Lisa Frankenstein. It bombed. Didn't get a chance to see it because I was just in bed, just dying.
Yes.
So.
And then I was fine until like 2 days later.
Yeah.
Then I began dying.
So we missed a couple things, but we should be back at it now.
Which is funny because we took like a 2-week break and we were like, now we're back. We recorded 3 episodes in one day. We cleaned out a basement. We made a new set.
And then we got horribly ill and missed more time than the break.
Weeks.
Yeah.
As we went on vacation. And
even though for them it's like a week and a half, maybe. So.
What comes out this week?
I don't know.
You want to see Madam Web again?
Please don't make
Drive-Away Dolls. That actually seems pretty good.
Yeah, it doesn't look awful.
Watch some streaming stuff. I'm getting the Star Wars itch.
Yeah, I could watch like a little, not all of it, like just like
fuck that. That means you don't have the itch yet.
And then we got some other movies coming out.
Dune,
yes. Can't wait to get that popcorn bucket.
I'm a fucking
in the theater.
Kung Fu Panda 4. I just started watching those because I've never seen them before.
Oh, how are you enjoying them?
First one was fucking good, dude. Like DreamWorks just be hitting it out of the park randomly with kids cartoon movies.
Yeah.
How to Train Your Dragon. Great.
They've been on a roll for like 20 years and no one seems to realize it.
Except for whatever we were talking about before.
Which I already forget.
What bad it was.
Oh, Megamind 2.
Yes. Doesn't look good.
No.
Adam Lambert, Megamind?
Yeah. It's really bad.
It's not.
They couldn't even get Tina Fey back. All she was doing was fucking Mean Girls.
Mean Girls again. Okay. Brendan, what did we do last week?
Nothing. Week before, nothing.
What did we post last week?
The entire MCU tier list that we did the 2 weeks prior.
Yes.
That we just kind of wrapped up in a nice bow for you because we were ill.
Yes. Like 3.5 hours, but a lot of fun. Green screen issues aside, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Next week, we'll figure it out, man. We're having a good time. And now we're back. Again.
Yes.
All right, so I've been Miguel.
And I'm Brendan.
Thank you for watching. We will see you next week.
Goodbye.